Here's what Tyler Buchner had to say about this, and he's sort of throwing some shade and shots at Alabama. I've been covering college football for quite a while, and I've covered many, and I mean many topics, but I don't know if I've ever seen a situation quite like this. Somebody said, what in the Tate Martell is this? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you had a great Friday. Hope all of you had a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Actually, let me change that. I hope all of you had a great week on Friday, except for Electronic Arts. If you don't know what happened, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I'll fill you in. So apparently Electronic Arts, they invited some creators and people out to play the game early this past week or whenever they did it. But they didn't invite your boy Matt. Definitely taking that personal. I got a good memory, so not going to forget about that. And here's my thing. You invite out all these nerds. I don't even know who went, but I guarantee you it was straight up nerds. And I also can guarantee you not a single person Electronic Arts invited to play that game can bench press more than 225 pounds. Don't even get me started on that. Anyways, in tonight's video, we got to talk about a player, a young man, whose name should ring a bell for quite a bit of you, and that is no other than Tyler Buchner. Ah, yes, Tyler Buchner. Now, you probably don't know a lot about this guy, but his name, it should scratch the back part of your brain. You know him, but you don't know why you know him. For those of you that aren't too familiar with him or you need a refresher, let me give you a brief run through of what's led us up until this point. Not last year, but 2 years ago, Tyler Buchner was a quarterback at Notre Dame, and he was a highly touted prospect coming out of high school, and there was still a lot of hype surrounding him at the collegiate level. He wasn't good at Notre Dame, he did struggle, but there was some potential around him. People were high on him for some odd reason. In the offseason of last year, this was the start to the domino effect. Alabama got a new offensive coordinator that goes by the name of Tommy Rees. Why is that relevant? Why am I bringing it up? Because he was offensive coordinator for, guess who? Tyler Buchner at Notre Dame. And remember, before Jalen Milroe solidified himself as the starter, as the guy at Alabama, after the spring game last year, not this most recent one, but I guess you'd say 2 years ago, there were some question marks about the quarterback position. So with Milroe and the backup quarterback at the time, Ty Simpson, not having a good spring game and not looking good in the spring practices, Tommy Rees then offers up a deal to Nick Saban. He's like, you know what? There's this other guy we could go after in the portal, and he potentially could start here. I coached him. I thought he was pretty good. Tyler Buchner at Notre Dame. We talked all about it when it happened. Saban was like, you know what? More the merrier. You really didn't lose anything, and it didn't hurt you to add another quarterback to your roster, to your team. Iron sharpens iron. Worst case scenario, like it did happen, but I'm getting there. He comes into Bama. He sucks. He's not good. And you don't play him. It's as simple as that. Long story short, Saban likes the idea of that, so he tells Tommy Rees, sure, let's bring him in. And now Alabama has 3 quarterbacks battling out for a starting spot. Ty Simpson, Tyler Buchner, and Jalen Milroe. Milroe did win the starting job at first, but as we all know, he had a not-so-good start to the season, and he had not one but 2 costly interceptions against Texas. Alabama, more importantly, Saban and Tommy Rees, they start to rethink things and say, you know what? Maybe we should open up this quarterback competition again. Next thing you know, you look up, Alabama's playing USF, and Jalen Milroe, he's not the starter. It's Tyler Buchner. That Alabama USF game almost felt like a fever dream, and Tyler Buchner starting, I felt like a lot of people have forgotten about that as well. I said it all year long. Alabama, after they beat Georgia, or actually really after they beat Auburn, they was playing with house money. They were not really that good of a team last year. It was one of the weirdest and wildest seasons as an Alabama fan, and maybe we'll have some weirder ones in the future, but during the Saban era last year, it was different to say the least. Getting back on track here, Buchner, he starts against USF. He was pitiful. Off the top of my head, without even looking it up, I'm sure I'll pop up the stats for you guys so you can look at them. I think he was 5 for 14 with like 50-something passing yards. He was awful. After that game, Jalen Milroe, he takes the reins back over, and the rest is history. Milroe's a starting quarterback, and not Tyler Buchner, I was about to say Buchner, but Ty Simpson, Alabama's current backup, was still the backup last year. So now you have Tyler Buchner in an awful situation. He was brought into Alabama to be the new quarterback. He performs terribly against USF, and now he's not even the backup. He's a third stringer. He's getting 0 reps. At least when you're the backup, you have some hope, and there's some future to look towards, too. But when you're the third stringer, no. So many things have to happen for you to even get a slither of an opportunity. Buchner then comes out with the shocking news that he's not just going to transfer away or leave Alabama, but he's leaving the sport of football to pursue lacrosse back at Notre Dame, which is all fine and dandy. I said it back then, I'll say it again. I was wishing him the best of luck. Seemed like a great guy. It's unfortunate it didn't work out at Alabama. And oh yeah, by the way, for those of you that care, Notre Dame just recently won the national championship in lacrosse. So technically, Tyler Buchner here is a national champion. What about that? It's just not in the sport he thought this time last year he'd be a champion in. And now here we are at our current date and time. News came out earlier today that former Notre Dame quarterback and also former Alabama quarterback Tyler Buchner is going to be rejoining the Notre Dame football team as a walk-on. So he went from Notre Dame quarterback to Alabama quarterback to Notre Dame lacrosse player to now Notre Dame football player. I've been covering college football for quite a while, and I've covered many, and I mean many topics, but I don't know if I've ever seen a situation quite like this. To sit up here and say it's head-scratching would be heavily understating it. But whoa, hold on. You're probably assuming, and if I did say he's going to play quarterback at Notre Dame, I can't remember, I do apologize. But if I didn't, you're probably assuming, right, that Buchner's going to be a quarterback. But just like Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. You want to take a gander at what position Tyler Buchner's going to play at Notre Dame? You'd never be able to guess it. Wide receiver. Yes, that is right. You heard me correctly. Tyler Buchner is going to, well, I guess we should say he's going to attempt to play wide receiver. This is going to be interesting. I'm not trying to say he's not athletic. Of course he is, and I do believe he's got some speed to him. He's faster than what most people think. But it's just odd to see this, and nobody saw this coming. A bunch of you guys were saying this to me, and here was my immediate reaction. Bro think he White Randy. Like, what is he doing? He's literally trying to be White Randy. Like, no joke. I'm being dead serious. This reminds me of something you do in Road to Glory when you get bored of playing a certain position with your mod player. You just change to something crazy. And I'm starting to think, you know what? If Tyler Buchner can switch his position from quarterback to wide receiver, if we do the Road to Glory with White Randy, we should be able to switch our position from wide receiver to quarterback. Absolute craziness, man. Absolute craziness. But hold on. If that wasn't enough for you, there's more. Here's what Tyler Buchner had to say about this, and he's sort of throwing some shade and shots at Alabama. Quote unquote, I've been lured to Alabama by opportunities that glisten like gold in the southern sun. When I transferred, it was with a heavy heart and a mind clouded by uncertainty. There were whispers in my ear, persuasive voices, and the glittering prospect of opportunity. As a 20-year-old, the ache of leaving behind the Fighting Irish was overshadowed by the pull of the transfer portal and the promise of playing one season for Coach Saban as the next logical step towards playing in the NFL. But I had forgotten why I chose Notre Dame in the first place, and it took a season away to realize what I had and why I love Notre Dame. Interesting. What do y'all think about that? I'm curious. He stated, I had been lured to Alabama by opportunities that glisten like gold in the southern sun. There were whispers in my ear, persuasive voices. He tried to make this seem like Alabama snaked him over. Like, buddy, I don't know what more you wanted him to do. They gave you an opportunity. You started against USF, and the bottom line is, if you would have went out there and balled out against a team that wasn't that good, you would have probably been the starter the rest of the season. Not probably, you would have. That was your tryout. And this isn't basketball. It's not baseball. You're not going to get multiple games to prove yourself. Not at Alabama. You get one, maybe, and this is just maybe, 2 to 3 games to prove yourself at a school like Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, any of the top dogs. If you go out there and you go 5 for 14, nah. It's all but over, buddy. Continuing along here, though, he also added this. Notre Dame has always been a place of faith and redemption, but I never imagined the extent of its generosity until the day Coach Freeman allowed me to rejoin the football team as a walk-on. Being able to play the game I have loved since I can remember, and playing for Notre Dame had been my dream. I risked it all and believed I had lost it all, as I did not think even return to football at Notre Dame would be in the cards. As I was leaving Alabama, I had scholarship opportunities to play quarterback elsewhere. Even though I knew I was potentially giving up on my football dreams, I turned them down and told my parents that I would pay my way through school because I only wanted to be at Notre Dame. It would have been easy for the football coaching staff to see me just as a player who had left, but instead, I am grateful they were able to see me as a young man eager to return and contribute in any way I could for the greater good of the team. Now, before we go any farther, I'm going to clap it up to Tyler Buchner. Very mature words, and I respect it, man. I do. You know, I get it. People are going to crack their jokes on Buchner for being a walk-on wide receiver, but on a serious note, he seems like a great, humble young man. Somebody said, what in the tape, Martell is this? Oh, man. What do y'all think about this? I see a lot of people saying in the comment section that he needs to get a job and he needs to hang it up and all that crazy stuff. Here's my take on the situation. I don't really like how he's acting like he didn't get a shot at Alabama, because he did. Like I said, he started a freaking game. So I don't understand that rationale behind him stating, yeah, I was lured to Alabama of hopes of this glistening dream, but yeah, they just snaked me out. That doesn't make any sense, man. However, with that being said, outside of that, I do respect all the decisions and choices he's made, and yeah, I'm wishing him the best of luck. This is a classic and prime example of the grass isn't always greener on the other side. A similar situation happened with Caden Proctor, and you're seeing it here with Tyler Buchner. He came to Alabama, thought it was going to be a better opportunity for him. Things didn't go so well, and he wanted to go back home. As far as it goes for his football career moving forward, I don't have too much to say because he's playing a position in which we've never seen him play before. We don't have any film, so you really can't evaluate him. He's roughly, according to ESPN here, 6'1", 215 pounds. He's got decent size, but can he move like a wide receiver? Can he run routes? Can he even catch the ball consistently? I have no idea. I would like to assume his ball skills are decent, but we're talking about D1 football here. You can't just be decent. You got to be great. We'll see what happens. One of the more fascinating topics we've seen this offseason. Let me know your thoughts down below. But Robin,